Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GameStack Podcast right here on We Just Love Games Network. I am your co-host, Vendertron. Joining me this evening is also Shalene. Hello, Shalene.
Hi.
How are you doing, my dear?
I'm doing pretty good,
Yeah?
actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, things are going well.
It's the end of the week. We made it. How has your week been?
It's been a good week.
Oh, really? Excellent.
Yeah,
That's
it was
good.
a good week. There was nothing terrible happened. There were no disasters.
I'm waiting for like an asteroid now.
Work was fine. Archon made us burritos.
Amazing.
What more do you want out of life? We had a Nintendo Direct with lots of great surprises.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that tonight. If you are just coming in live to the show, welcome. We love you. Thank you for your continued support right here on the best little corner of the internet on a Friday evening. And you're listening to episode 139, Amerijudge. Don't forget, the show is sponsored by Oak and Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee blend, and $2 from every bag of that blend goes to the Children's Miracle Network. Don't forget, also, tell your friends about the show. If you are looking for our podcast, you can find it on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, iHeart Radio, Google Play, Apple's, all of the things. Every single one of them. We love to hear from you as well. If you would like to write into the show, you can email us at info@WeJustLoveGames. If you've heard anything that we talked about on the show and you want to chime in your 2 cents, you can do that. You can also do that by joining our Discord. How can people write into the Discord or join the Discord, Shalene?
Well, Vendor, you can join our Discord by clicking the link on our Twitch page. That link is live, whether or not the show is. You can just visit twitch.tv/WeJustLoveGames and click that link, and you are instantly a member of the Discord. Alternately, shoot us a message on social media, and we'll get you the invite link. And we may not have had anybody new joining our Discord this week, but I did want to shout out a couple of people in chat today. We have Kawaii Banana Sushi and Mr. Rockstar, both names that I recognize from back in the day. But I feel like we haven't seen them in a little while, so it's good to see you guys. Thanks for hopping in.
Yeah, those are some old names, hey, coming out of the woodwork. Yeah. Welcome. The Discord's been pretty active this week. People have been posting a lot of screenshots and stories, which we're going to cover later on. As well, we still have, as Vendor International units would call, a schwack load of mail in the mail stack.
A schwack load?
Yes, a schwack load.
Is that a metric term?
Rick always bugs me about that, so I thought that I would just mention that in his namesake. We have a lot of news to talk about as well, hey?
Yeah, mostly we're going to focus on Nintendo news, but there are a few things.
And as you may have noticed, we have mostly shooken out the cobwebs in the studio here for our audio. Hopefully, the quality of the audio of the podcast is good for you. And we're still working out some kinks, so bear with us on that. We're also going to talk about the stock market. There's been lots of activity in the stock market, our gameplay. We got to read some mail and also talk about what the community is playing and then what we're playing. And that's a wrap. So, yeah, let's hop into the news with this just in. Take it away, Shalene.
Okay, so we're going to start out with an Activision story, and guys, Vendor sent me this one to include in the news, and I was like, I have to look at Bobby Kotick's stupid face again. Are you serious? I'm sick of
stupid
this man.
Bobby Kotick.
Stupid Bobby Kotick and his stupid face. But the story and the reason why I have to look at Bobby Kotick's stupid face is that if the Microsoft merger fails, he is planning to stay as CEO. Activision Blizzard CEO, this is according to a Fox Business article by Liz Clayman. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick is in it to win it with the $69 billion merger with Microsoft. Even if regulators were to derail the planned tie-up, He will absolutely remain at the gaming giant to run the company.
Ugh.
These sources say that confidence remains high inside Activision, that the Competition and Markets Authority in the UK is the only regulatory body that really matters in this merger case, and that they are confident it will go through.
Huh.
So I just, I'm just, I hate this man.
And
I want him to
remind
leave
us why we hate him.
because he's a scumbag. He's just, you can listen back to old episodes. We just hate him. Just trust me on this one.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about this merger?
Well, I mean, there are mixed feelings. I feel like um more anything that fosters more competition is always good for the market, and this is a thing that fosters less competition.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that. But on the other hand, I do feel like Microsoft is doing a pretty great job lately with things, and I feel like they might be good for Activision. They might be a good steadying influence and might take things in a positive direction. Uh, my opinion isn't super strong either way, but I'm definitely split down the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily for Microsoft taking on any more companies.
Mm-hmm.
I think market diversification is a healthy thing. And when you have one company just owning a monopoly on a whole industry, it's not necessarily always the best option. But um, I don't know. I think, Xbox and PlayStation compete pretty closely with each other. Um, and reducing that competition between Microsoft and Sony could result in seeing potentially higher prices of things or reduced range or quality of games, I think, possibly as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, and I think it's interesting, like, how the media has kind of run with it as well. Um, and it certainly has played in Microsoft's favor. I mean, their stock is up almost $5 just today alone. So,
Wow.
but
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah.
Hey, I digress.
Well, yeah, I've got no way to segue into this, but it is still early in 2023. We are at the front half of February, and 15 games have already been killed. This is a Kotaku article by Levi Winslow. Yeah,
It sounds like
these.
you're talking about like motor vehicle accidents or something.
Well, I
Not that that's
mean,
funny by any means, but it's yeah.
yeah, we've got. I'm just gonna roll through this list real quick. Apex Legends Mobile is being shut down on May the 1st. Babylon's Fall is being shut down at the end of February. All the data will be deleted and the servers shut off. Battlefield Mobile is shutting down. Bravely Default Brilliant Lights. That one is going to end at the end of the month. Crime Site. Um, Crossfire X. Wow, this one's going to end on May 18th. I really thought this one looked like it might do something, but
Huh.
apparently it did nothing. Deathverse Let It Die is going to be suspended on July 18th. Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, A Hero's Bonds on April 26th. Echo VR will be shut down on August 1st. Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. This was already killed on January the 11th.
Hmm.
And of course, Google Stadia shut down on January the 18th. Hellfire Tactics was a card-based battler, and that came out in November of 2022. It will shut down on February the 28th, 2023. So server costs were expensive and the player base dropped, and the game, keeping this game running, was already unsustainable. So that was a short life for this game, and that's pretty sad. Knockout City will be shutting down on June the 6th, and Rumbleverse on February the 28th. Also, Spellbreak will be shutting in early 2023. They haven't given us an exact date for that one yet, but it's really a sign in the way the games market has changed, watching all of these games shut down, some of them so swiftly. You used to be able to really count on a game to be something that you could play for a while.
Yep.
And now there's no guaranteeing. It's in some ways, if you're going in on something that's not an established property, it's a complete gamble on if you're still going to be able to play this game.
Just a quick, oh, there you go. You noticed. Okay, good.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's going on today. But I just think that's a real shame that some of these games are super new, and they're already done. They're already done. They never got a chance to live.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we've kind of seen before. You know, it's not personal. It's business. You know,
Yeah.
you got to shift projects around, which means you got to shift people around. And I think what we're seeing now, post-pandemic world, is mass layoffs from tech companies, and I think that video game developing studios or developers are not immune to that as well. I think that there was a lot of hiring going on
Absolutely.
during the pandemic as well, because people were static. They weren't moving. They had a lot of time to do a lot of stuff and work on a lot of projects, and so I think, developers kind of monopolized on that opportunity.
Right.
But it didn't necessarily pay off, right? And they've got to lay people off or move projects around or drop projects to be able to keep the lights on, unfortunately. I mean, look at Amazon and Google. They're laying off entire dev teams.
I feel like we saw this trend of games, all the games that were traditionally single player games added a multiplayer component. And slowly over the years, the single player components started to be dropped and people were releasing exclusively multiplayer games. And I think that method may not necessarily be sustainable. I feel like what we're seeing is that maybe they should consider some offline options for the longevity of their game. It's funny because multiplayer,
yeah.
it began as a way to extend the life of your single player game. And now I feel like we might need to inject some single player aspects to extend the life of your multiplayer game.
We swung too hard in the opposite direction, and now we have to sort of course correct.
It's gone too far.
Yeah. And I feel you there. Especially in last week's episode, we were talking about an exclusively a single player game that you had to have an online connection to be able to play.
Yeah, I believe that was Redfall upcoming.
And this is just another demonstration of the power dynamic between developers and consumers. Let's call it a power dynamic, because it's coercive.
In this digital era, we do not own our games anymore. We don't buy our games to continue to have continued access to them in the same way that we used to. They do have that power to shut them off at any time, and that sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks, man.
Well, I'm curious to see what 2023 is going to be like. This is only episode 2 of the year. And I'm curious to see what kind of games are going to be coming. I think it's going to be a lot better than it was last year. Last year seemed to be somewhat stagnant in terms of games that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Well, I
Even though we're losing games, I think I'm still cautiously optimistic about it. I think. But
yeah,
yeah.
that's good. Optimism is good. I feel like that's one of the things we've always tried to foster on this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, vendor, today was payday for me, but bills come around and you have to buy gas for the car to get to work, and the money just goes so fast. And I've got probably about $1 to my name right now, and I sure would like to
So
buy
what
a
you're
new
telling
video
me
game.
so what you $1? $1? Sorry, continue.
$1. Thank you, vendor. Thank you. Konami is selling its latest baseball game for $1 to try and reach a global audience. This is a Video Games Chronicle article by Chris Scullion. And this is a long running baseball series, the Power Pros series. It's known in Japan as Jikyu Powerful Pro Yakyu, and it began on the Super Famicom in 1994 and has enjoyed annual success in Japan. But very few entries have ever been released outside of Japan, and those that were released didn't make much of an impact. And Konami wants to see a global audience for this series. They're selling it on Switch and PS4 for 99 US cents, $1. So I can spend my last dollar on WBSCE Baseball Power Pros. It is a fully fledged baseball game, and despite its low price, Konami claims that it has no microtransactions. This is in contrast to its football series, eFootball, which used to be Pro Evolution Soccer. And that game is free to play and monetized by in-game purchases. But this baseball situation, the global release launches at an affordable price of 99 cents with no additional charges, in the hope that it will be enjoyed by many people around the world, especially with the game supporting up to 4 players on the Switch and PlayStation 4, alongside single player online.
Can we just talk about these little baseball players and their ginormous feet? It's adorable.
It is adorable. It's so cute.
And it's totally worth 99 cents.
They're little chibi guys, and they're so cute playing baseball. And I actually, it's so cute. It's just so cute.
And
the giant feet are ludicrous.
For our Canadian audio listeners, that'll be about $9 Canadian for you. Oh man.
But yeah, this is adorable, and you can get it for $1 if you would like to try a baseball franchise that has long been popular in Japan. Definitely check it out.
Excellent.
So, looks like a fun time to me. And this next article was one that you brought to my attention, and it's been removed from Reddit. So I can't see it. This is just like my dream. I had that nightmare where all I had was the headline.
Here, I'll find it. I'll find it.
You guys, I had a literal nightmare that this happened. And here it's unfolding live on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while vendors frantically finding that article for us to get us back on track. Did you get it there?
Yeah, it's here. Yep.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. I wasn't paying enough attention. I'm so thrown off now. So an American judge has tossed the Joy-Con drift class action lawsuit out. This is an Ars Technica article by Kevin Purdy. There was a potential class action lawsuit over joystick drift. Are you familiar with the Joy-Con drift, vendor?
You know what? I am now, and only in the last couple of weeks because I've been addicted to Switch sports and the bowling, and Yeah.
So why don't you tell the people about Joy-Con drift?
Well, I experienced Joy-Con drift while bowling. Um, and basically, it's your typical Joy-Con drift. It sticks and it moves your character or whatever you're aiming at to either one side of the screen or one corner of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's unexpected and intermittent, and it can be quite annoying, especially if you're playing something that's a little bit more serious than bowling. For me, if I'm just aiming down the lane, and it moves to the side, I can always re-target, re-aim where I
Yeah.
want to throw the bowling ball. But if you're in a battle in Zelda or something like that, Metroid, you don't want Joy-Con drift happening. But anyways, so
Yeah, I
what
had this
happened with
happen to
this?
a pair of my Joy-Con, and my little Animal Crossing character was always just shuffling slowly to the right. It was hilarious.
Well, with my partner's Switch, it's intermittent and it's sudden.
Mhm.
So it's not all the time. If it was
Right.
persistent, then
Mhm.
yeah, and I don't think his Switch is under warranty anymore.
But this is a problem that has affected many, many Joy-Con. It is a design flaw in the device. And Nintendo's solution has been mail us your Joy-Cons and we'll fix them. And we're not going to do anything about it. We're not going to improve the design of our product. So, of course, a class action lawsuit was filed, as it should have been, in my opinion. I feel like that's a justified case for a class action lawsuit. Um, but a federal judge ruled that Nintendo's end user license agreement for the console bars such lawsuits. This was a filing from November, but only recently noticed by Games Media. William Alsup, U.S. District Judge for the Northern District of California, ruled that two plaintiffs, both minors, were not able to sue Nintendo because setting up the Switch requires agreeing to an EULA that has arbitration and forum selection clauses. The minors and their mothers were the original plaintiffs, but after an arbitrator ruled that the mothers couldn't pursue the claim because the children had accepted the EULA, they attempted to refile the case with the children as plaintiffs. Because Nintendo's EULA requires a person to be at least 18 years old to sign it, the mother argued the children could not have agreed to it and should be able to pursue the case. But the judge ruled that the parents who purchased the consoles are the true owners and that they had failed to assign ownership to the children. And they denied the plaintiff's request and dismissed the case. This case is one of many that has been filed against Nintendo over the drifting Joy-Con, which have been a problem since the console launched in 2017. So, um, yeah, that's it.
That's frustrating. It's one of those
It really
situations.
is.
It's one of those situations where legal precedent has sort of just pushed this under the rug.
Mhm.
Um and it's annoying because this is actually a huge thing. It would cost Nintendo hundreds of millions of dollars to fix this problem.
Mhm.
And yeah, they've basically found this is why companies have sales agreements and things like that in
Yeah.
their terms because yeah.
It really is a shame because the Switch has become one of the biggest selling consoles that Nintendo's ever had. And it feels almost disrespectful that they're just not going to fix this problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they seem to have no interest in fixing this problem. It's very gross.
It's also kind of what it's sort of the nail in the coffin for me too in terms of not jumping on the Switch bandwagon.
Yeah. So you think this has kind of firmed your decision not to purchase one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cuz if I'm going to have to go through the whole issue of Joy-Con drift and mailing
Yeah,
it
I just
in
bought new
and like
Joy-Cons. I just bought new Joy-Cons.
and that's what they're banking on. That's what they're
Yes.
banking on, Shalene. You're part of the problem.
I am absolutely part of the problem because I am fully cognizant of and acknowledging this serious and valid problem. And now I'm going to spend like 20 minutes gushing over cool Nintendo stuff that I want to play on my
Oh no,
Switch.
here we go. Okay, okay.
Yes. Are you ready
Okay.
for this?
Yes, now that we're done
Okay.
bashing Nintendo, we will lift them up on that golden pedestal once again.
And I understand I'm part of the problem. I recognize that. This is a legitimate problem. I am fully cognizant that
It's called addiction.
yeah.
Addiction.
Well, yes, maybe a little. I could quit whenever I wanted to, vendor. I could stop anytime I wanted to. But I don't want to, is the thing. Because I think it was on Tuesday, Nintendo put out a Nintendo Direct, and I watched it after I got home from work. I put it on the big TV, and they crushed it. They killed it with this Nintendo Direct. And actually, I should have had my notes ready to go. I didn't have them. Okay, we're just gonna go through some of these new announcements and and talk about them. I'm really excited. So first off, Metroid Prime Remastered is coming to the Switch, has come to the Switch. It was available digitally right after the Direct, and it will be available as a physical edition on the 22nd of February, which is very exciting. And yeah, Metroid Prime Remastered. This makes me feel there is some concern in me that the fact that they've released Metroid Prime Remastered means that this is something to tide us over for Metroid Prime 4.
Oh,
Like
maybe.
maybe Metroid Prime 4 is really far out and we're not going to see it for quite a while. So they're like, here guys,
Mm-hmm.
here's a little something for you. And I hope they release the rest of the trilogy as well. And maybe those releases won't be too far in between, and they'll do a surprise drop of 4. Maybe it's farther along than I hope. But I do feel like this is a sign that we won't be seeing Metroid Prime 4 for quite a while. So we will see.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I'm excited to play it. I definitely want to play it. I think I'm gonna wait for the physical copy. I know Tim's been playing it
Tim's
already.
super excited. Yeah, he
Yeah, I saw he posted.
posted
Yeah.
stuff in the Discord. He's all pumped. Yeah,
Hmm.
we gotta
I think we
have.
should ask him to come on and talk about it.
Yeah, you read my mind.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Metroid Prime Remastered and Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp is a thing. I've never been into Advance Wars. I don't know a lot about it. I'm sure that's exciting to some people. Samba de Amigo Party Central is going to be a new title in that game. The last time that there was a Samba de Amigo game was a re-release for the Wii in 2008. And this was kind of a surprise to me. This was not a franchise that I expected to see revived. But if you like rhythm games, this is a good one. So check that out. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe is a remake of the 2D Wii game. It's a very traditional Kirby game. It's not really doing new stuff in the way that Kirby and the Forgotten Land was, but it's a very solid 2D platformer. Highly recommend. And there is going to be, I believe, an epilogue available for this game where you play as another character in the Kirby franchise.
Are you gonna get it? Are you gonna try it out?
I might. There's so much out there. This is not at the top of the list for me. But it's not something I would be opposed to playing.
Okay. Okay.
Have you played any of the Bayonetta games, Thunder?
No, I have not.
Yeah, that's such a super popular franchise, and it's never appealed to me. I've never had any interest in the Bayonetta games until now.
Oh, really? Tell me more.
Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and the Lost Demon looks amazing to me. It looks so good. It stars Bayonetta as a young girl trying to rescue her mother, and she teams up with a big demon character, and it's kind of a strategy action game. And I love the art
I
style.
love the
And
art style. It's brilliant.
yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that a great art style? And
You know what?
the
It kind of gives me Secret of Nim vibes a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Hmm.
And the two characters have different abilities. Bayonetta's character, Cereza, she doesn't have any combat abilities. She's a support character, which is a big stretch from her being like very tough in the mainline games.
Okay.
So I'm interested to seeing how that story folds out. And I think I will be checking this game out on March 17th when it releases.
Excellent.
It looks rad. I think it looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Master Detective Archives Rain Code is a new game from the developers of the Danganronpa series, and it is a detective mystery where you play as an amnesiac trainee detective who is haunted by a ghostly creature. And I'm laughing because this Kotaku article is using the same joke that Archon did when I was watching this.
What do you
One
mean?
of This game will feature an ability called postcognition, which we're pretty sure is otherwise known as remembering. That is the same joke that Archon made when we were watching the direct together. So
Right,
it's
right.
really funny. Disney Illusion Island is a 2D platformer featuring Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy. And it is in a kind of an old school art style. It's not necessarily a Steamboat Willie art style, but it definitely isn't the modern cartooniness of the Disney characters that we expect.
Okay.
And watching this trailer, I was strongly, strongly reminded of the Rayman series. I feel like it's going to play a lot like Rayman. Looks like a great, solid 2D platformer that you can play with up to four players. Um, so if you're into that, definitely check it out. I probably won't be playing this one, but
Yeah, I don't know.
and
I don't think I would play it, but
yeah, it really strongly reminded me of the Rayman games, which were brilliant, absolutely brilliant games. But like I said earlier, there's so much out there to
mm-hmm.
play. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so behind on everything. The stack is real.
What else you got? What else you got?
Pikmin 4. And holy smokes, this is adorable. This the Pikmin series, of course, is a Shigeru Miyamoto joint, and these Pikmin are so cute. They're these little guys with little flowers
Did you
on their heads.
did you notice how the ship in the beginning of the trailer, I'm just going to replay it. The ship in the beginning of the trailer resembles the ship in Hitchhiker's Guide
Oh, it
a little
does.
bit.
It really does.
The anyways,
Cute.
continue.
And they all have different abilities, and it's gonna be grand. It's gonna be grand. I think this looks adorable. I've never played a Pikmin game before, but it looks like something I would enjoy. And
Are you going to pick that one up?
maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Look at those little birdies. Oh,
Isn't
they're
it cute?
adorable. Oh, it's so cute.
It is so cute. Adorable.
Okay. Sorry, I got distracted. Next.
And what I definitely, definitely will be picking up at launch is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We got a second official trailer for this that was loaded with just new details and interesting little asides. These flying enemy characters that are visible to anybody watching on Twitch or YouTube made me wonder if we might see a return of the Loftwing in this entry of the series. I feel like that would be pretty cool. So we've got some new enemy types. We have, of course, some returning enemy types, and the aura is just oppressive enough to be very. It kind of reminds me of Twilight Princess. This trailer, it looks amazing. I cannot wait. Cannot wait. It looks so so good. And they did not delay the game, which is also exciting. So this game will still be releasing in May, and I will be there. I'm so excited for this game. Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
um
Oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. I'm just watching the trailer again.
Yeah,
Look at it, it's gonna be so good.
yeah, it
New
looks
abilities, new enemies, just and Link has kind of a new look. He has longer hair in this game. It's pretty cool. Um, this is great. It's great. I've completely stopped podcasting now and I'm
it's
just
like
watching this
okay.
trailer. You
So
got to
okay,
shut it
so
off.
we know that that's one that you're gonna play.
Yes, can't wait. I probably won't play the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Expansion Pass Volume 3, but this game is it has a very devoted following, and I'm sure that fans of the series were thrilled to see this new trailer with new content and new playable
And
characters.
what was this called again? Sorry.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3,
Oh, thank
it
you.
is part 3 of an expansion pass. Um,
Xenoblade
and
Chronicles 3.
yes. And the next item is Fashion Dreamer, which is a game in which you play as a fashion influencer. Um, this game, it looks a little weird. It looks a little weird to me. I'm not
I mean,
feeling
it's
it. I'm not
classic
feeling it.
Nintendo.
And
It's classic. I love it. I can understand the audience that this would resonate with though. Yeah.
it's these people are supposed to be fashionable and they're real goofy looking
Shalene, I don't know if you've
and
been out lately, but this is how people are actually dressing.
and the skin tones are also incredibly weird. Like they've made an effort at inclusivity, but they're just odd skin tones.
Yeah, they
I
look very
just
like matted. Like
yeah.
yeah.
Like that woman just has no features. Like
Yeah, it's just like yeah, there's no structure.
it's so odd. It's so odd. What are you doing, Nintendo?
Weird.
What are you doing?
Okay.
Um, well, if you're not into Fashion Dreamer, you can check out Tron Identity from Mike Bethel. This is a decision based adventure. Usually, Tron games tend to be pretty action oriented, but this is like a visual novel style situation. And I think it looks pretty good. Mike Bethel is great. He makes great games.
Yep. Excellent.
And another franchise that I did not expect to see coming back today was Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, a remake of this game is going to be releasing over the summer. And this was originally a DS game. It's one of the all-time great DS adventure games, and I think it's pretty exciting that it is going to reach a new audience on the Switch. So if you haven't played Ghost Trick Phantom Detective, I recommend it. It's an odd game, and it has a lot of personality. It's very quirky.
Hmm.
It's a good one. And there was also a trailer for Dead Cells: The Return to Castlevania DLC,
Ooh.
and it looks good, doesn't it?
I
It
remember
looks
playing
good.
Castlevania, Shalene, on Nintendo 64
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and that was my first exposure to Castlevania.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. But I love that they've really sort of held on to or gone back to maybe a little bit of the original 8-bit
Mm-hmm.
style of the original Castlevania,
Yeah, it's funny
right?
because it's like a mashup because Dead Cells was this really popular roguelite game that released a couple of years ago. I want to say it was 2 years ago. And here we are getting it blended with Castlevania. And I think it's a great matchup. I feel like these two games are going to be a really good fit for each other.
Yeah,
So
great.
it looks rad. If you're a fan of Castlevania games, I think you'll enjoy it. Deca Police is another weird detective game, another weird Japanese detective game. It's just this one looks so odd and just it wild. At one point, the player character turns into a cat for no apparent reason at all. It's just It's wild. It looks like a good time though.
Okay.
They advertised some DLC for Splatoon 3. I didn't realize we were already on Splatoon 3. So good on you, Splatoon. Doing great.
I can't help but think of Spittoon.
Splatoon, yeah.
Like,
That's
ting.
I understand. That's a natural.
It's every
Yeah.
time. Every time somebody says Splatoon, I just want to
Mhm.
like hawk a loogie into a brass vase on the floor.
While wearing a cowboy hat
And
and a
yeah,
handlebar
yeah, yeah,
mustache.
yeah. Maybe I've been playing too much Red Dead. I don't know.
Fire Emblem Engage is getting an expansion pass with new spells and new characters. You will get Hector, the Emblem of Strength, Camilla, the Emblem of Revelation, and Soren, the Emblem of Acumen. And Wave 3 will offer Crom and Robin, Emblem of Bonds, Veronica, the Emblem of Heroes, and Wave 4 will add a new storyline called Fell Xenologue. So that sounds cool. And Don't Nod announced a new game, Harmony, The Fall of Reverie, which is a visual novel, surprising no one from Don't Nod. And you will be playing as a character who is straddling two worlds. And there is a world of gods called Aspirations, and you will be making decisions and influencing what happens between these two worlds. It
I
looks really
really,
interesting to me.
yeah, I like the art style, and
Mhm.
this looks like something that you might play.
It absolutely does. Yeah, this is something that I am likely to play. I think it looks pretty cool.
I don't spend
So,
enough time, you know, and this would be a reason why I would buy a Switch, is to
mhm.
play story-based games like this that are like
Yes,
a visual audio novel
I
of
think the Switch is a
sorts.
great platform for visual novels.
Yeah,
Really great
yeah.
platform for that.
Even though
Octopath.
I want to recognize that I did just say that I'm like not buying a Switch, but you know,
Look at you being part of the problem.
I know
It's what friends are for.
it's capitalism, yo.
Octopath Traveler 2. We got a new trailer for that and a demo with the game's beginning is now available on the eShop. This was the first game was a very beloved JRPG in the traditional style. And this one looks great too.
What I really love about this is not just the art style, Shalene, but also the fact that they managed to do this 8-bit style in sort of like a tilt shift
Mhm.
perspective. So everything looks
Right,
sort of
right.
miniaturized. I love that. I love that. That's
It
actually
is
for
some gorgeous pixel art.
yeah, it's really immersive. It looks really immersive.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Really good. We love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Reverie. So if you're a Katamari fan, I can definitely check that out. These Katamari games are just they're zany. They're a good time. You play as the king of all cosmos and roll around collecting items. It's a fun time. And the Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection combines the first three classic Etrian games. They have been modernized and bundled together for a June release. And there is auto mapping now. And I thought these games, I was unfamiliar, but I thought these looked really, really cool. I love the idea of being the cartographer, of mapping out, of creating your own map for these environments. I thought it just looked really neat. I'm interested.
Oh, this
So
is
I,
gonna
I may
put
have to
Joshy out
look
of a
into this.
job.
Creating those maps.
Yeah. Actually, I
It
wonder if
looks
he'll
really
play it.
cool.
I wonder if he'll dive into it. Check it out.
I don't know. I don't know, but it looked neat. And Sea of Stars is an RPG from the creator of The Messenger. And this is going to be a tribute to genre 90s classics.
I love all these little side scroller.
Mm-hmm.
They're great.
Yeah,
Stardew got some DLC too, didn't it?
did it?
Not that I'm not trying to derail, but
No, I'm unfamiliar with the Stardew news.
hmm.
So
Anyways, continue.
Omega Strikers is basically air hockey, like anime air hockey. Looks like a good time.
Okay.
And here is the announcement that I was the most excited about from the whole direct, even more excited than the Tears of the Kingdom trailer. Game Boy and Game Boy Advance have come to the Nintendo Online service as part
What?
of their virtual console. Original Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. So you just have to be a Nintendo Online member. There's two tiers. The first tier includes the original Game Boy games, and the second tier includes the Game Boy Advance games as well. The first tier I think is $25 and the second tier is 50.
Wow,
Um,
that's cool.
so I spent a pretty good chunk of last night playing original Game Boy games. I was so excited. I'll go into
Okay.
that a little bit more in depth in
Okay.
our gameplay.
Do you remember how I
But
said I wouldn't buy a Switch?
yeah, yeah, it's compelling, isn't it? This is
But do
a
I but do I have to sit 2 feet from a wall outlet for 6 hours while I'm playing it? Is the question.
I was just excited that there's an option to take advantage of the fact that the Switch is blacklit and I can play in a dark room without having to have like a miner's lamp strapped to my head. And like I
somebody
remember
somebody on Reddit posted the ad of the kid in the backseat in the car and the light that clips
yes,
on to the Game Boy with
that
the
was me. That was I had all those attachments, vendor.
Of
I
course
had
you
like
did.
there was a battery boost pack, and there was the light that clipped on, and then there was like a magnifying glass that clipped
Not
on,
surprised.
and then I used a Game Genie sometimes, so I'd have my Game Genie plugged into it too. And altogether, the whole contraption like weighed 30 pounds, and I was like 7 years old trying to play this nonsense, and I loved it so much. And I just, I yeah, Game Boy. It's the good stuff. It's the good stuff. And in this trailer now, as you can see, if you're watching the video version of the show, there are different options for the filter basically that you're seeing it through. You can see it in a traditional way where it's a little darker, like you're playing it on the original Game Boy.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's a filter like you're playing on a Game Boy Color. There's a filter like you're playing on a Game Boy Advance. You can have it on a big screen, on a small screen. The Minish Cap is one of the games that's so good. It's so good.
I'm gonna have
And
to
Link
get
to the
this. I'm
Past,
gonna have to
also
get
good.
this for Carlo, I think,
It's
because
so
look at it.
good. It's
Oh,
so
I love it.
good.
Super Mario Brothers. It's so
Super
great.
Mario Brothers 3. WarioWare Inc. is a classic. I spent a good chunk of last night playing Six Golden Coins, Super Mario Land 2,
So how much
and of
was
course the
it's
best
is
version of
it
Tetris.
it's subscription based or?
Yeah, these are included with your Nintendo Online service.
Oh,
These
okay,
are
okay.
yeah. So, um, honestly, if they would have asked me to pay for them again, I would have,
Yeah, of
and
course. I mean,
that's
you're
why I'm part of the problem.
coming from a person with 11 copies of Skyrim. This is nothing compared to.
It's just so good. It's so good.
That's
And
great.
I was thrilled about this. Like I was
Oh my gosh, Mario
audibly
Kart.
excited.
The original.
Yes.
Well, okay, so
Mhm.
here's the thing. I think that they are tailoring to our generation, absolutely. 100%.
Yes.
They're trying to get that generation to buy into the Switch. So they're trying to
Hmm.
mine new markets basically. Um and I think it's going to boost sales. I think a lot
I'm
of people
just
are going to.
thrilled. I've always been a huge fan of the Virtual Console in its many incarnations, and I remember being just bitterly disappointed that I never got Game Boy games on my DS, and now I finally have them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
um,
Well, if you
I'm
4 Mile
thrilled.
in chat says I never got a Game Boy, and if you are like 4 Mile and were one of those kids growing up who never had a Game Boy, you can have a Game Boy now. If you got a
Mhm.
Switch, get yourself a Nintendo Online account and subscription, and you can have access to all of that. If you don't have a Switch, well, maybe get one.
And the value proposition here is pretty fantastic because you don't just have access to these Game Boy games. There's also an NES collection, an SNES collection, and um, a Nintendo 64 collection. There are a lot of great, amazing retro games that you can play on this system now.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yes, that's it for my Nintendo shilling. Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, the show's not sponsored by Nintendo.
Oh,
Kind of wish
and
we were,
just
though.
there were a couple of other games that were announced. Fantasy Life, I, The Girl Who Steals Time. I'm not interested even a little bit. But you know what I was interested in was Professor Layton and the New World of Steam. More Professor Layton. Yay! I was really excited
Professor
because the last
Layton.
Professor Layton game did not feature Professor Layton. It had like his daughter, his illegitimate daughter that nobody knew about. Uh, but he's back. The man is back, hopefully with his little stupid car, and I'm excited. I love these Professor Layton games.
Oh, that's
Mario
great.
Kart 8 advertised that Yoshi's Island is coming as a map, and Birdo will be a playable character. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with Birdo. And let's see, I'm skipping the rest. That's everything I cared about.
Oh, that's great. Thanks for
I was
covering
so
that. That's a
excited.
lot of work, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was good stuff. And we do have a couple of follow-up articles. I'll blow through these pretty fast because they are related to the Nintendo Direct. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is going to cost $70 American, which is 10 more than Switch games usually cost. And according to this GamesIndustry.biz article by Marie Delisandri, Nintendo clarified, we determine the suggested retail price for any Nintendo product on a case by case basis. And um, I feel like it's going to be the new price for AAA games for the generation. But I'm not sure that this is necessarily the thing to do because the Switch is not necessarily a current gen system anymore. You know, it's this was a system that was launched alongside the previous
When
generation
did
of
it come out?
hardware.
2017?
2017, yeah.
So it's
So
it's already 6 years old.
yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
And I feel like it might be a bit of a stretch to I mean, I'm still gonna pay that $70 for Tears of the Kingdom. Like, don't get me wrong, like
You're such a sucker.
I am a sucker. I might pay more for the Steelbook Fancy Edition because I'm a sucker for those.
And
Um
you know what's worse? It's not even a hard copy. It's just digital.
I hate it when they do that, when they give a Steelbook copy, but then it's a code, so there's no disc to put in your Steelbook. What is the matter with people? But I with Switch, it's usually at least you get a Switch cart. Like I've got my Metroid Dread Steelbook edition here, and it came with a.
So
It's
are
in the
so
Switch
are
right
you
now,
gonna
so I don't
play?
have
Are you
it.
gonna
But
play Prime the remastered?
oh, absolutely, yeah,
Mm,
yeah. I
excellent.
love the Metroid series. It's very near and dear to my heart. Um, but speaking
I
of
should
that,
send you my Elgato game card so that you can play Nintendo and stream it.
you know, I've got an Elgato somewhere. I've got one. I just need to dig it out, and it's not here in the apartment. It's at the old house.
Uh,
So,
uh
let's see. The next article is Metroid Prime Remastered. There was a comparison video, and the new remaster is absolutely gorgeous. So the original Metroid Prime released in 2002 for the GameCube, and it's just the difference in this game on GameCube versus Wii versus the Switch is astounding. It is absolutely beautiful. So it looks like they've done an excellent job with the remaster. I do think I will wait until I can buy a physical cartridge though. Um, and they are releasing a new amiibo for the new Legend of Zelda game. and it will provide helpful items and paraglider cosmetics. The new amiibo is a Link amiibo and Zelda themed amiibo that are not necessarily specific to this one will also work with the game, providing materials and weapons in much the same way as they did in Breath of the Wild. And that was something that I actually really enjoyed in Breath of the Wild, was using the amiibo, because they deliver your stuff in a chest and it falls out of the sky in said chest. And I would occasionally weaponize the chest and try to drop it on my enemies. And I thought that was just a fun time. And you can see here in the article, if you are looking, this is a GameSpot.com article. There are some different cosmetics. The Loftwing amiibo has gives you a paraglider cosmetic that is reminiscent of Zelda's fancy dress from the beginning of that. There is the Majora's Mask Link amiibo has got the face from the Majora's Mask on the thing. It was really cool. Looks great. And I just can't wait to get my hands on that game. I realize that I'm a problem. Okay,
Yeah.
so I see some new news has grown in the news list. Why don't you tell me about it, since I know nothing?
Well, Shalene, I actually thought that one of the things that we didn't actually have on our news list today, or for this episode, was the release and initial community reaction to the much anticipated Hogwarts Legacy, which, as you know, released on PC, I think on February 7th?
It was this week, I think.
8th? And, you know, some fans are really struggling to try to reconcile the author's comments with a desire to immerse themselves in the Harry Potter world, or the Hogwarts universe. And I think, you know, the Steam forums specifically were quite a mess. This article written by CC Jiang over at Kotaku mentions that not every Harry Potter fan is a transphobe like J.K. Rowling. But the new open world RPG Hogwarts Legacy seems to bring out the most dedicated bigots in full force. But the game's discussion forums on Steam, which is the leading PC platform, is mostly filled with hateful conduct and commentation.
See that.
Yeah, and the game itself was developed by Warner Brothers Studios. And has drawn significant controversy because of its series creator, J.K. Rowling, who is known for posting transphobic views on Twitter, the social media platform, and also openly opposing legislation that would make it easier for trans people to stay alive, and spreading misinformation about trans healthcare. The game itself, in terms of Twitch viewers and Steam downloads, has been wildly successful. But yeah, there's still a lot of contention about whether or not this game is really.
Yeah, it really has sparked some very bitter arguments.
Yeah.
Very, very bitter.
Other reviews of Hogwarts, the game itself, if we want to just set politics aside for a moment, you know, one article written by Jana Gray in Wired said basically that there is no magic in Hogwarts Legacy, and that you know, although it's a third-person action RPG, it's set in the same universe as the classic Harry Potter series, but the game itself, it really appears to lack a lot of luster that the original Harry Potter storyline and Hogwarts universe was known for. She said there's a hole where this game's heart should be. You can't see it at first. You have to really feel around its edges, stop looking for what is there, and start noticing what isn't there. There's no sense of place. The world is lifeless, and the character models and facial animations are present but somewhat and somehow absent. The characters
Mhm.
are animated, and they certainly don't feel alive. The story itself, besides being rooted in anti Semitism, doesn't even really feel compelling. And speaking of which, the characters often flat out state their motivations, but they don't actually really feel believable or even particularly coherent. Um, and, she goes on to talk about how it says a lot about the Hogwarts universe, but it doesn't really feel like Hogwarts at all. And despite the controversy around Rowling herself, the game feels like it was put together to tap the nostalgia of Harry Potter fans rather than put out a very nicely polished, or by our low standards in today's day and age, only partially polished game. So yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah,
The
if you
I some outlets have reviewed it really well also. I feel like it's got a pretty high Metacritic.
it's all over the place, right?
Mhm.
And I think that I think this is one of those situations where, um you're going to get a lot of initial community backlash. I think a lot of it is politically driven as well.
Mhm.
But we have to let it play its course and see where it
I'd
goes in
like to hear where you
popularity.
stand on this, Bender.
Um I mean, I certainly condemn uh J.K. Rowling's behavior.
Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
think that
One,
goes without saying.
yes. Harry Potter has a special place in my childhood. It was a
Mhm.
significant part of my life. Um, so there's memories that are tied to that for me. So, the story itself is not a representation of transphobic sentiment. Um, the universe, I don't think, really is. Even if the author, right? And I hold the same stance there as I do with like actors like
Right.
um, Kevin Spacey, for example, right? Terrible human being, terrible, brilliant actor.
Mhm.
And like I love
There are
I
many
love
similar
House of
cases.
Cards. I love House of Cards. And there's so many other cases like that where the person behind the creative is a monster. And I don't know. I challenges my own principles. Like, how can I support this work and this creativity from this person when they're a terrible human being? And I'll just end it by saying that I probably won't get Hogwarts Legacy and play it. One, because my PC can't play it, but two, because I don't really have any desire to it. I'm tied to the old Harry Potter because I'm old fashioned like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I it's a the idea of creator versus creation is it's a complicated discussion that we've had before on this podcast. And I do think that in a way there is there is a point where if you only consumed the art of people whose values aligned with yours, then there's not much for you to look at or listen to or watch. Um, and I think that there are times when you can separate the art from the artist. And like H.P. Lovecraft, horrible human being, big racist, bad guy, um, created some amazing universes. Um, but and also with this instance in particular of Harry Potter, I adored those books as a child also, adored them, absolutely loved them.
Yeah.
I was one of those people who was like waiting by the mailbox for my new Harry Potter book to come in. But when it comes to this game, I can't feel good about playing it, and I'm not planning to, because I know that supporting this game, showing support to this game, would be hurtful to people that I care about. And why would I do that? Why would I ever do that? So um that's where I am with this.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way. That's a good way to look at it too, right? It's to support something like that is somewhat of a disservice to the people in your life and in your community. And
Hmm.
so in sort of boycotting or taking a step away from, not necessarily boycotting, but just, and you do that in showing support for those
Yeah.
communities.
And that said, I don't think that if you do choose to play Hogwarts, that you are an evil person. Um, but I can't reconcile myself with having friends in the trans community and also supporting this game
I mean,
by
like if you,
this,
yeah,
this
and if
creator.
like if you want other examples of more prominent world characters where this is the same situation, Leonardo da Vinci is a great example. He put plans forth to build weapons of war, um, but he's still regarded as one of humanity's most influential minds, and respected as much. And I'm not putting J.K. Rowling in the same category as Da Vinci, but I'm just saying that you know there's I don't know. It's one of those things. You form your own
Mhm.
opinion about it. It's not going to end the world, if you play this game or not. And it's not my place to judge you either if you're going to play it or not. But anyways, if you have played Hogwarts Legacy and you want to pipe in on the conversation, feel free to do so by dropping some mail for us in the mail stack channel in the Discord.
Indeed.
Anyways, that's the news. Let's move on to the stocks. Sony down $3, closing out at $90.12. Microsoft up $4.75 at $263.10. Nintendo down 70 cents, closed at $10.07. Take Two up $1.82, closed at $111.10. Activision Blizzard, if you bought stock in that company, is up 20 cents at 75.45. Ubisoft down $1.10 at 22.78. EA is down to $111.80, down $2.12. Tencent down up 34 cents at 48.59. And we were just talking about this earlier. The Microsoft stock has risen quite a bit alone today, but we often see large fluctuations, especially because their
Hmm.
stock price is so high. But I'd be curious to see what things are going to look like in the coming weeks with this Activision and Microsoft merger. That's MailStack, or that's the stock market. Let's see what people have in the MailStack.
You've got mail.
Well, our first mail stack of the evening is from RTZ13, who has brought some game purchasing advice. Hiya, I know we don't have a lot of PC gamers here, especially ones without Game Pass, but I wanted to mention some great ways to get some new games on top of your backlog without breaking the bank. Steam has some pretty good sales way too often, but I found two other great places to look for your wishlisted games. The first one is the fanatical.com website, which is one of those legit sites where you can get game keys and bundles that works either with Steam, Windows Store, or Ubisoft Connect. Second one is Humble Bundle, where similarly you can get individual games bundled together as the name suggests, or you can sign up for their subscription service, which gives you 8 to 10 games monthly, which are yours to keep forever with additional price reduction for other purchases in their store. The subscription is called Humble Choice and costs around $12, and you can just jump in for the month if you like the games and then cancel. And
Nice.
for the month of January, he gave the example games Doom Eternal, Tribes of Midgard, Encased, Ollie Ollie World Rad Edition, Grow, Song of the Evertree, Conan Chop Chop, Hako Life, The Serpent Rogue. And he says this is the reason why he's been giving away and gifting some games recently. And
RTZ
so
is
this
so
helps
great.
someone.
Every now and then I get a game in my inbox and it's from him.
Same. He gave me a copy of Greedfall, and that is a game I've been meaning to play since it came out. and I need to get around to it. I got it, the code redeemed, but I need to install it and give it a try.
Mm.
It looks very much like Dragon Age, like old school BioWare.
So that's a letter from RTZ13, not necessarily looking for our opinion, but more just telling the community.
Just wanted to. I don't know that he even intended us to read that on this show, but
anything else?
It was good information. We also had some commentary from Tachi Sunshine, who says, I haven't finished the fun employment episode yet, but I wanted to comment on a couple of things before I forget, since I do that with pretty much every episode. Shalene, right. Shalene, when Vendor asked you about games with bad critical reviews that you loved, one came instantly to mind, because I have also played it multiple times and loved it, Dragon Age 2. I also have to say I've always taken reviews with a grain of salt. I can honestly say I've never played a game that I thought deserved a perfect 10. There is always something in every game that can be improved upon. My other comment is about the Microsoft Activision thing. I agree with the antitrust thing, and I frankly don't trust a word Microsoft says. As a longtime Bethesda game lover, pretty sure I've purchased every version of Skyrim. I'm still feeling burned by that one. I was looking forward to playing a new title from them, but as someone who is a PlayStation owner, I won't be able to, which makes me both sad and mad. C'est la vie, I suppose. Been listening to you all since those shows and still love it. Thank you for the fun content and the laughs.
Great. Love it.
Yeah, thank you, Tachi Sunshine, for writing in. Dragon Age 2 was the perfect response to that, and I feel dumb that I didn't think of that in the moment.
What was your answer when I asked you that question? I don't remember.
I think I didn't have one. I think I was just like, I don't know. But Dragon Age 2 is a great one. Also, BioShock 2. BioShock 2 was not well reviewed, but I freaking loved it. But yeah, those are both exactly the answer that we were looking for.
Yeah.
And I forgot that Tachi has been listening to the shows and she knows my mind better than I do.
Fun Employed. Such a good show title.
Yeah,
we have to go back. This is our 139th episode. We have to go back through our list of and like talk about the show titles, I think, one time, because I think that would just be so much fun.
I love that sometimes they're just inside jokes that make no sense to anyone but us.
Yes. For those of you unaware, Amerijudge was maybe a Freudian slip. When I was writing the show notes today, I meant to write American Judge, but Amerijudge just came out of me. So anyways, that's anything else on the mail stack?
That's it for this time.
Okay. Then we've got what the community is playing. And this first image, I got to navigate to screenshots and stories. Shalene, if you can help me through these images as well. I think this first image is Alex had sent this in. Yeah? Zephyr.
Yes.
And he says, Alex and I went through a lot of trouble to protect this cow, and it wandered out of the fences anyways. For those of you just coming in, Alex and Zephyr are a couple that started playing Fallout 76 together.
They are friends.
Oh, sorry. They are friends who started playing Fallout 76 together, and they've just fallen in love with the game. I have some more here. This one of Zephyr and his power armor looks really good.
Alex submitted this one, and apparently he got stuck in this wild pose in that power armor.
Oh, so he was really probably funny. Just like wandering around, stuck. Like, yeah, that's
doing a little bit of a
classic Bethesda glitch. Like my Sea of Thieves glitch when I was just in a seated pose and I was just so moving
funny.
Around. This next one, also from Alex, says we fixed it and still somehow failed. And explain this image because I don't know what to make sense of.
So we've got a little building here, and the Brahmin, the cow, is inside the building. He's in the house, and I don't think he's supposed to be there. So
I love the house. It looks like a modular home that you see, and like.
I'm actually going to read some of the commentary. After she posted this photo, Jessica Starr posted, I'm just, what is going on here? And Alex said, well, the cow was escaping the enclosure and kept getting eaten by ghouls, so we fixed it. And that worked for a solid day or so. And then, well, the cow popped into the wall of Zephyr's cookhouse and then was stuck there for a while.
Oh, that's his cookhouse. That's so funny.
We tried so hard to keep Linda safe.
Linda. The cow's name is Linda?
Yes. I named Archon's cow Bernice. Yeah. She's part of the family. Poor Linda.
Moving along, we have this image, also presumably Fallout 76 in build mode.
Yeah, this is another Alex one. It shows the heart-shaped pin that they built for Linda.
Oh, the heart-shaped pen. Okay. And Linda's in the middle of it there. I see now. Yeah.
That's great.
Brilliant. This one here from Satyr. Satyr says, I filled up my cargo hold, stripping the hull of a big ship, so I decided to tag it for later. Yeah.
I can't remember what this game is called. Is this Star Citizen?
This may be Space Engineers or Star Citizen. I'm not quite sure.
This is Star Citizen that he's been posting screenshots from. It's an incredible screenshot game.
Yeah, here's another one. Just that large ship he's just stripping down.
Satyr always has great screenshots for us.
I love this shot, one we often don't get from Joshy. He says, been playing a bit of Valheim, and he has this colossal fortress with it's built over a river, and he's coming in on a boat. Yeah, looks good.
Satyr was in the chat. He confirms that it's Star Citizen.
Ah, okay.
So back to Joshy's Valheim shot. My boss was actually talking about Valheim. I can talk about video games with my coworkers now. Isn't that neat?
So, are you going to play games with them?
I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I
don't know if I want that to happen.
Well, I mean, you could probably take a page from Rick's book because he plays video games now with his coworkers.
He does.
His new job. Yeah.
But like, to be fair though, I barely play video games with my friends. So the coworkers are down the list.
She's not wrong.
Priorities.
She's not wrong. I only get to see her once a week because money. So we don't even get paid.
We don't even get paid.
Okay, can you read RTZ's little blurb? And I'm just going to slowly go through these images of Death Stranding that he likes to send in on a weekly basis, and we love them.
Hey, it's me again for the last time with Death Stranding. Happy to announce that I have completed the story, but as it has become one of my top 3 favorite games, I will stick around to do all the achievements. Happy to announce that not just the visuals, but the gameplay and story are also brilliant. There are some strange things here and there, but let's just leave it as the writer's creative freedom. We never judged lightsabers and the Force in the big franchise due to not being possible and realistic. If you're even mildly interested in it, don't let reviews steer you away from the game. One thing to note is that I have never seen as detailed terrain in any other games before. That would deserve a couple of medals on its own. Not just visually stunning, but also an important gameplay mechanic, ally and enemy at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That is brilliant. What a brilliant description. I would also like to know, RTZ, what are the other top 2 favorite games? If Death Stranding has become one of the top 3, what are the other 2? Write in, let us know.
Yeah. We also have some great shots from Jessica Starr. And she says, okay, I have to get in on the screenshots and stories this week. So, in Kraken Academy...
Oh my lord!
She says, in Kraken Academy, which is a fun top-down retro time loop adventure game, you're a student at an unusual academy. There are various study tracks at the school for music, arts, sports, and theater. The theater kids are rich and a bit Slytherin. By the by, this is a very different but nice alternative game if you're skipping the wizard one. Anyway, you're in the music track and make friends with other students through the game. One of my favorites is the artist Batista. Can you guess why?
Oh, he's the derpiest little pug of all time.
Batista is a pug.
Old master painters and he dislikes vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, and Jessica Stars, aka Sleep is for Tea, who we've had on the show as a guest, has pugs. She's a pug
A
owner.
pug,
A pug
yeah.
owner.
Alistair is her pug's name. He's a cutie.
And she says Batista is super gifted, but the big exhibition, her entry is vandalized. The game turns into Phoenix
Oh,
Wright for this puzzle as you ask questions and discover the culprit.
so cute.
Very
Jess,
cute.
I love
Love it.
this.
Then we have a couple of screenshots from Alex. This is in Elder Scrolls Online.
Ooh.
And she says, "This is my new favorite zone of all time. Oh my God. It's beautiful and I'm happy." And it's literally her character standing in a field of sunflowers.
So pretty.
It's
I
just
love them.
sunflowers as far as the eye can see. And she's just
They have
happy
trucks
as
in
a
ESO now?
no. That's the next picture, which might as well
Okay.
segue into the next picture. This is from RTZ, and he says different game, still delivering stuff, fighting through the rocky, muddy terrain in SnowRunner.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is, and here's a picture of his truck, nighttime in SnowRunner.
Very nice.
And then this is hilarious. He says, "Okay, I was driving around and probably took a wrong turn, and somehow I ended up in The Witcher 3."
He did. This does look like, oh, drowners are going to come out of there and attack that semi at any moment.
It's brilliant. And to finish things off the right way, we have a photo here from Taz, who says, "Expanding the reach of WJLG Network to the construction of a studio on the moon with a view of Earth." And
I love this.
explain
So
this for our
fun.
listeners. It's so adorable.
Yeah, he's built a little studio for us with 3 desks, and they're labeled Rick, Shalene, and Vendertron. And it's just so cute. It looks like news anchor desk. And he did add on to it a little bit as well. I don't think you had time to get that one in, but he has
I don't have them.
modified it. He gave us better chairs.
We'll
We can
save
check
them.
that out next week.
We'll save them for next week. Yeah.
Taz, can you tell us what game this was done in?
I believe this is Space Engineers.
Space Engineers?
I want to say Space Engineers. Yeah. We should actually start a
it's really
we
cute.
should start a community thing. If you're building in game, make a WJLG studio wherever you are. If you're in the Fallout universe, if you're in Star Citizen or building in Valheim, make us a studio. And
I think
send
that
a
is
picture
such
in.
a fun challenge. It has been so long since we've done one of those. And you can submit your entries on the screenshots and stories channel in our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So that's
Taz confirms that is Space Engineers.
excellent. That's what the community is playing. Let's talk about what we're playing. Socialine, big news. My wheel came in.
Oh, it's cool.
It's Quick
Tell us
Connect.
about the wheel.
So it's Quick Connect. So on the back here, you just like put the wheel onto the drivetrain or whatever it is, and it just like snaps on. And there's little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's little pins on the inside there.
Yeah.
So it's completely wireless. Isn't that amazing?
That is so cool.
There's a little Bluetooth. I don't know if you can see the difference in the plastic here.
Yes.
But this is basically a Bluetooth hub that communicates wirelessly with the drive, the base, the wheelbase. It's rather hefty. I would say the wheel and the base together weigh probably about 30 pounds. It's got a bunch of buttons here on the front and some switches and like turn knobby things. This wheel it's okay. The leather is actually like pleather. But I've been conversing with Sullivan's Racing.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually going to fabricate me an adapter
Ooh.
to be able to put my big truck wheel on this unit here.
I love it.
So I was sending him pictures and measurements this week, and we were talking. So hopefully he will send me an adapter that can go in on this wheel in a couple of weeks' time. But it's pretty cool. There's an LED too up at the top here, so you can change and program the colors.
I love fun LED lights.
Yeah, and what else? What else was I gonna say about this wheel? It's like you can just feel that it's better quality than the
Mhm.
Logitech. I plugged it in to ATS just to like see if all the buttons worked and everything, and it worked really well. It's got some paddle shifters on the back here.
Right.
And
Yeah, those look cool.
the paddle shifters, I don't know if you can kind of tell, but it's actually forged carbon fiber. So it's like really good quality. This is actually a wheel made for racing sims. So
Honestly,
I'm
that
going a
wheel
little
looks better than the
overboard.
one that's in my actual car.
I know, right? I should swap this one out for the one in my... Anyways, so the wheel just kind of like pops on there. It's super awesome. I'm excited. The only problem is that my pedals for my Logitech wheel were powered and ran through the Logitech wheel.
So now you need new pedals?
So I either need to replace the pedals, which is a costly endeavor, and I don't think I can do that right now, or I get an adapter for the pedals, but there's only one man on the planet that makes the adapter, and he lives in the UK, and it's like $50 shipping. So here I am again, buying ridiculously pricey, tiny little parts for this project that I've decided to do. Remember how I told you about the nut?
Yes.
Or the bolt that was like ridiculous to, yeah. So hence why I'm getting Sully to help make me an adapter for this wheel, because I don't want to go back to that fabrication shop, because that's like expensive. And he's just
prohibitive.
He's doing that out of the kindness of his heart. I'm going to send him a Canada Care package with a bunch of WJLG stuff and ketchup chips and all dressed chips and all the things. So yeah. I also have to openly admit that I'm deeply invested and addicted to, I can quit anytime I want, bowling on Nintendo Sports.
Yeah.
I was back at Carlo's place last weekend, and it was so bad because like his parents were back from California and his sister and her partner came over and everybody was visiting, and I was just in the next room playing bowling. I feel it's so terrible.
Do you play like with the motion control Joy-Con?
Yeah. It's just like you just throw it. I've got it down pat. Like you've got to throw the ball, but you've got to like go like here to get the right curve on the ball so that you can get a strike every time. And I'm still trying to beat my old record of 258, which I was not able to beat last weekend.
258 is a good game. That's a good game of bowling.
The bowling is really good, 4 Mile. The golf is also really good. Carlo and I played again this weekend, and I gotta say, we're getting pretty good at it. We're starting to get more pars. I am in the water less. So there's that. I have dived back into Cyberpunk. Because I've been waiting for parts for this wheel to come in and things like that. I haven't been playing much ETS, so I've been diving back into Cyberpunk, and Cyberpunk is just, it's so good. It's super glitchy and like really needs a lot of work still. But the storyline's really good. I've started the main storyline up again. I've been doing a lot of side quests. You know, when you play a game and you get really into it and you don't want the main story to progress, so you do all of the little bits and pieces that you can before you continue on. And so I've started the main storyline, and Keanu Reeves is just the best. He's just the best. It's so cool. Secretly kind of want Keanu Reeves in my head permanently all the time. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Be careful what you wish for.
Worse voices to have in your head.
True. Yeah. So Cyberpunk is going well. Have you played it fully?
No, I haven't played it since the last time I talked about playing it.
Yeah.
And I did a few hours and quit.
Yeah. Okay. And then Jess and I did a little bit of Deep Rock Galactic. I feel bad because Hobbit's cooling fan system is still all in wonky. I got an update. She put new thermal paste on this week, but it didn't seem to solve the problem. So now she's going to be replacing her cooling fan. So that sucks.
I hope that helps.
Hopefully she can get that working so that we can play a little bit of Deep Rock again. But Jess and I played some Deep Rock. It was lots of fun. I'm due for a new promotion at work now
Ooh.
on the space station. So I've got to do my assignment that you basically you level up to 25 and then you're eligible for a promotion. And then you do the promotion. Basically, it's like an assignment, and you've got to do 5 different or 3 different or whatever battles or missions. And so I'm going to start chipping away at that eventually. But I don't know.
Right.
Deep Rock is not that bad solo. It's not that bad. It's a game that you can play if you want to do something sort of cathartic and mindless. And Bosco is just the best robot dog there is. Like, he is just so cute. He wants to help. He makes all these cute noises. He's like basically the R2D2 of Deep Rock. I love him.
Aww.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I've been playing. What have you been up to?
Well, of course, Fallout 76 is still a part of my life. They had a double score weekend this past weekend. And so I went all in on that, trying to get to the end of the scoreboard. And I did. I hit level 100. It is scorecation. I immediately logged off, and I'm not going back until Foshnot starts.
Oh man.
I was tired. I was tired. I was real tired. But I mean, I do have fun when I play. I wanted to do some other things. I've been reading a lot lately, actually, so
That's
that's
good.
that's taking up a lot of my time.
Yep.
And of course, I discussed earlier in the show how absolutely excited I was about original Game Boy games coming to Switch. And last night I had some time and I installed it and I got to playing, and I booted up Super Mario Land 2 6 golden coins. This was one of my favorite games of my childhood.
Really?
I loved this game. I loved
Okay.
it.
I've got a
And
6 golden
so,
coins.
and looking back now, because it's probably been, 20 or 30 years since I've played this game, probably a solid 25 years since I've played this game. And looking at it through a modern lens, this game was actually kind of what's the word? Innovative for its time.
Okay.
It's, in a way, it's a bit of an open world.
Well, I got
Of
it.
course, it
I
still has that level structure.
mhm.
Um, but I do want to talk about this game and how it's set up. So Wario has taken over your castle, and the door is locked with 6 coins, and the coins are held by the bosses of 6 different worlds, and you can tackle these worlds in any order, and you can leave in the middle of one and go do another. And that was something that I really enjoyed at the time and still enjoy now, is that when you get really frustrated, you get stuck on something, you can just go do something else for a while and still feel like you're making progress. You're not nailed in. And this game has the Mario Bunny Ears power up, which I had forgotten existed.
Oh
And it's
gosh.
so fun. You have the little Mario Bunny Ears, and he uses his little bunny ears to fly. And the power up item is a carrot to get the bunny ears. It's so good.
Oh,
It's
there
there.
he
There
is. He's
they
got
are. There's the little bunny ears. See it floating with the little bunny ears?
What are those
Oh my
potatoes?
gosh.
What are
It's
those
so
things?
good.
Are those
I have
potatoes?
no idea what those dudes are,
Blam,
but yeah,
blam,
they're gross.
blam. Cute.
But I had so much fun returning to this game that I loved
Wow.
so
Yeah.
much as a child. And I'm absolutely going to spend some more time with it, because it just it hits me in the feels. And of course, I could not play the Game Boy without picking up the Game Boy title, which I have hands down put the most time in. probably one of the games, bar none, that I've put the most time in. The original Game Boy version of Tetris, which is, in my opinion, the best version of Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, it felt like time travel playing this game. Felt like time travel. And I was simultaneously here and now, and I was also a child on my childhood couch in my childhood home. And I could almost feel the shape and weight of the Game Boy in my hands, even though I was playing on the Switch. And I was just completely sucked in. The familiarity of the music, the familiarity of the screens and the way it looks, and just, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I was so happy. I was at peace. Like it was nirvana for me. All was right with the world. I had
great.
a religious experience playing Tetris.
Transcendental.
And you know, it is, when you get to play in Tetris and you get in that zone, then there is something spiritual about it. You know, it's just, it's
when you
your
let
brain starts functioning on a different wavelength. And
maybe
I love
Tetris is one of
Tetris.
those things that was just like part of universal law, that it was supposed to be invented by humans.
I just love Tetris. I love Tetris. And I feel like now is definitely the time to have the matchup with Tim that we've been talking about for like 4 years now, because now we have the best version of Tetris.
And you can play online together with
Yes.
this. Yeah, yeah.
So
that's great.
I feel like now's the time. But it felt so good returning to these Game Boy games.
Mm-hmm.
And the Game Boy has such a place in my heart. And I feel like that console is part of who I am. And it was lovely. It was lovely returning to those
4
games.
Mile asks if anybody remembers Circus Charlie.
Nope.
I don't remember Circus Charlie either.
Tell us, 4 Mile, who was Circus Charlie?
This is the game. Have you ever played this, Shalene? Circus Charlie?
Let me look.
I don't know.
Screen. No, is this NES?
This is probably the indie version of an NES game, I'm guessing. If I've never heard of it though. Yeah. But I only, like, as a low income kid, right? I only played like 2 or 3 NES games.
Yeah.
Ever.
I had a bunch of NES games. I was also a low income kid, but I didn't get that NES until like several years into the Super NES life cycle. So it came with all the games that the other kids didn't play anymore. And I was like, yes! So I did have a ton of NES games.
Brilliant.
I think that's a show.
That's your gameplay? Any plugs or announcements before we head out?
No.
Well, don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. Right into the show if you're interested. Keep your ears and eyes open for next Friday. We will be bringing you another episode of GameStack Podcast. Our show is sponsored by Oak & Crow Coffee. If you head on over to oakandcrow.com, you can pick up a bag of We Just Love Coffee Blend, and $2 from every bag goes to the Children's Miracle Network. We love getting mail from you, so join our Discord and drop us a line in the MailStack channel. You can also contribute your screenshots and stories to the Screenshots and Stories channel. And this impromptu challenge that we have, build a GameStack studio and send us a screenshot of that, of in-game things that you're doing. You can find us on social media at We Just Love Games. You can find Shalene at Shalene L, myself at Vendertron N. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/We Just Love Games, facebook.com/group/We Just Love Games. And if you are listening live right now and you haven't already joined our Discord, scroll right down below on the Twitch page. You can get a direct link into our Discord channel, our Discord server. And the podcast doesn't stop. It's the chat after dark, as Rick likes to call it. We record GameStack Podcast live every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time right here on twitch.tv/We Just Love Games. We are also on all of the podcast platforms you can think of: YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, Google. Please like, subscribe, and review the show. Thank you all for listening. Shalene, have you got a last word?
Actually, the only thing in my head right now is the song from Tetris. I'm just hearing it on a loop.
Ding, 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 ding. Good night,
That's
everyone.
the one.